Ubisoft doesn't really know how to make their customers happy anymore, so instead of just admitting their faults, they blame us for not buying their slop. They blame us for the fact that their profits are falling. And now, of course, Ubisoft is blaming people for playing fewer games, they claim, and gamers are wrecking them for it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, we know that everything Ubisoft says is a lie. They claim a game is doing good, then we find out it isn't. They claim that people are playing fewer games, and that's not actually the case. And they are so deep into the hole they've dug that they cannot admit their own faults now, or else they would look ridiculous. So Ubisoft is giving a new explanation for its ongoing decline, and the company's latest theory is bold. According to a new filing in the UK, Ubisoft claims the reason its recent releases keep stumbling isn't tied to quality, direction, or player reception. No, the real issue is that consumers simply aren't playing new games anymore. I did talk about this at length in another video. It will be linked down below, but this is a complete and utter lie. We know that gamers are always purchasing something. Yes, there are almost 19,000 games that have released this year. Last year it was 18,000. So there's a lot to choose from, and that is not good news for these AAA companies because they once dominated, and while some of them still make a lot of money, it's not the amount that they need to stay afloat. It's not the amount they need to keep their developers around. It's not the amount they need to be able to put 100 or 200 or 300 million dollars into a single release, and they are being ignored more and more. And Ubisoft specifically has made a lot of bad moves. Skull and Bones was a quadruple A failure. You can get it for about $10 now. X Defiant is already dead. They didn't innovate with that. The gameplay itself was pretty fun, but the maps, the guns, they didn't add anything to those categories. You have Star Wars Outlaws, which was just another mid-Star Wars game, and that underperformed. And then you had Assassin's Creed Shadows, which faced major backlash, and sure, allegedly it did sell a couple million copies, but it still had the highest budget for an Assassin's Creed game, and it sold the worst out of the last 5 modern titles. So we're not talking about some sweeping success here, and they don't want to admit a major problem is the fact that they have bought into this ESG, DEI, corporate virtue signaling bullshit, and people are rejecting that. Their level of quality really hasn't gone up with all of these releases. I mean, Star Wars Outlaws was buggy and broken, X Defiant had its problems, Skull and Bones was missing major features, and then you add all of that up with the fact that these companies are either not listening to what people really want, or that they are pretending to listen, but then it's only in the marketing. When the game finally comes out, it completely underdelivers. Yeah, people are going to reject your slop, and they need to admit their faults. If this company came out and said, we understand, we have dropped the ball, and if you give us, I don't know, 3 years, the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be what you want. The next Far Cry game is going to be what you want. If they do another Star Wars game, that next Star Wars game is going to be what you want. I would say, you know what? They have admitted their faults. Maybe they are actually going to take us seriously and turn things around. And by that point, if they didn't, well, they would be going completely under. I know they're already struggling, but that would be the end for them. Companies should admit their faults because it looks good in the eyes of consumers. It looks like they're listening. It looks like they're trying to change, and it gives us this rejuvenated faith in them, but none of them do because, of course, shareholders wouldn't like them admitting their faults. But at the same time, if the shareholders are already pissed off at you, you can't really tick them off any freaking more. And maybe they would actually see the positive player reception and go, maybe this is actually a good idea. We know that Ubisoft is working with Tencent on that new creative house Vantage Studios. That's probably not going to release any content for years. And even then, we're probably just talking about more of the same old for that first wave of releases. In the next few days, they are supposed to release filings, and they basically have said to stay patient. A lot of people think that potentially it could mean a complete acquisition by Tencent. Maybe it could mean that they're breaking the company up. Who knows? It's all rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. Either way, though, they are completely misunderstanding the problems that they're facing and why they're facing these issues. Saying that players are buying less games is ridiculous. Yes, I do believe that's a small part of the problem they're facing, because when there's so much to choose from, your games inevitably are going to be ignored by some people, but they're not making good games. Ubisoft's filing argues that subscription services, long-tail live service titles, and free-to-play games have reshaped the market, and that is technically true. Those models exist. They are popular. They do keep players coming back, but it's hard to claim these trends hurt new releases when you have Elden Ring dominating the world. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 exploded in popularity. Black Myth Wukong, Baldur's Gate 3, Resident Evil remakes, Helldivers 2, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, even Ghost of Yote made enough to be profitable, just not as much as Tsushima. Yeah, and these are just a few games out of the bunch. You would think that they would actually see this and go, you know what? Yeah, we can't use this excuse anymore, but they're doing their best to cover their asses, and it is ridiculous. Now you add that onto the other problems that they're facing, right? Delaying their earnings report, halting shares trading minutes before release. They haven't even released this information yet, and this was last week. We heard that this was happening. It's not a good look, and players are wrecking them on social media over their recent stances, and rightfully so. The levels of cope, they are either lying or straight up delusional. And here's the global active gamers over time, and it has consistently gone up. Aren't Steam numbers at an all-time high? Yes, they are. I'm certainly playing fewer new games, but I'm playing all my favorites pretty consistently. Just finished Shadow of the Colossus, gonna do the whole Mass Effect saga next. No, nobody wants to play your games. I'm playing fewer. Everything's third-person action souls like combat or gay, so I'm just modding Skyrim again. Still playing games, just not playing Ubi games. Are our latest games really bad? No, it's the players who are in the wrong here. Let me fix that headline for them. People are playing fewer of our games and our new releases are struggling, says Ubisoft UK, warning of falling revenues. I just wish that they would turn things around. Truly. I know there's a lot of people out there who say, oh my gosh, you're a grifter. You just want to see the world burn. I genuinely don't. I talk about the video game industry and criticize these companies because I want them to listen to us. I want them to do better. And if we don't fight back, they're going to continue to abuse our wallets. They are going to continue to feel like they can put out whatever they want and not face consequences for it. And that shouldn't be the case. I want the industry to change for the better. And if tomorrow all of the companies did a 180 or really a 360 because they would be going back to the way that they were, I would be happy. I would be so excited. I would love that to happen because I love video games. That's why I stream 25 or 30 hours of video games a week. I want them to do better. I want them to do good. And it's just hard to imagine that that could happen anymore because I think that a lot of them are too far gone. People are playing fewer Ubisoft games. That's what it is. Less games? Sure. It can't be that indie games are just much better. And yeah, the AAA companies are struggling because the indies and AAs are putting up a fight. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Mega Bonk, Schedule 1. These are all titles that are doing phenomenal right now or have done phenomenal. And these companies really are struggling to stand up against them. I mean, it feels pretty bad when your ex-developers go and start a company and release one game and already they are beloved within the industry. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was amazing. Imagine if Ubisoft had put that out. Our perception of Ubisoft would be wildly different. So while a lot of us wish that they could turn things around, I don't think that that's going to happen, and I'm very curious to see what their big old release is going to look like. Though at the end of the day, we all know that Ubisoft is a shell of the company they once were. They are claiming that they are struggling because people are playing fewer games, which is a straight up lie, and you love to see gamers absolutely wrecking them for this ridiculous statement. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.